Hello, my name is Mike Hatrick, and I am from Admersive Technologies, and I want to go over some of the newest things that we're offering. You may have heard the term Chat GPT and AI being thrown around, and one thing our company does a little bit differently, we know that you can use the technology to create text and different items and then put it into wherever you're using it for. But we kind of took the lazy approach. We asked the one question: why can't the AI create the entire page? Not just the text, but the entire landing page for higher conversion. And if you bear with me and stay to the end of this video, I can promise you one thing: you're really going to understand how this system, even if it's not our system you're using, can help your conversion rate on your landing pages. So let's just start from the very top. To get to your landing page, you need to start with Google. Google has a few features out there that not a lot of people are aware of. Google will pass things from your ad to your page. And let me just go over a few of those things. One is, inside your ads, you could swap out what's called a keyword variable. What that does is very powerful. A lot of people don't use this correctly. Whatever the customer's keyword they type in, that's what you'll see inside your ad. Now that's great because it makes the ad really relevant, but what happens when you click on an ad that's really relevant to land on a page that doesn't even mention the keyword? You bounce, and you bounce very quickly. So that being said, Google has a feature, and it's called the actual landing page template link. And you can actually program it inside your AdWords account that whenever someone clicks on your ad, it's going to pass variables back to your landing page. One of the things we just talked about was what we call as a QID. You can name this whatever you like. You could call it a keyword, whatever. But inside that template, in that landing page template, when you put that keyword in there, it passes onto your page. Now, we've included a few extra features in our links because our pages are blank until the link hits it. So let me go over this. We have the customer's ID. So we have a profile of you, your branding guidelines, your phone number, your contact information, even your stores, and this will come up a little bit later, but even your store's catalog. So if you have inventory, an online e-commerce website, that's even included as part of our customer ID. The next thing we have is the product or the service ID. Now that means that, yes, someone's doing a search for, let's say, your sofa, and your sofa is called the Zardini, but the words that you're using are like, let's say, mid-century or upholstered sofa. Well, they might not type in what you want them to type in. They'll type in their own keyword. But we want to have a reference point that this is the ad that you're trying to push this particular product. So the next thing we have is the actual term they typed in. They typed in mid-century living room. Well, your product fits perfectly with the mid-century living room. So we have the QID here. We also could pass the location of the customer. This is really important for, especially on mobile, getting directions to your store or your place of business. And there's actually other features you can do. Some companies have gone so far that after a person visits your website from a click, they can send a postcard to the customer because they have the exact home address. So we'll talk about that later. And the last one, and this is really important, people don't take this in consideration. This is the platform ID. Where did the customer come from? Meaning that what was the experience they had? What was the layout, the theme, the colors, the experience they were experiencing before they came to your page? A lot of times the disconnect. You're having a really good experience and you land on a page that completely has nothing to do with your experience. You hit a thank you page, maybe if you're lucky and you got a conversion, or they hit the back arrow because it just doesn't look or feel like the way they wanted it to. So we take all these considerations and we make one link for this. Now, before we get to our page, I want to explain to you what you could do with this information. There's regular landing pages out there. I've used them in the past. There's Unbounce, there's HubSpot. They build landing pages. There's tons of services out there. What they're able to do is they can echo what's in that URL if you've set it up correctly, meaning that the title can have the keyword, the body text can have the keyword. Here's the problem I ran into, and you might have ran into it as well. Writing the text that goes around that keyword. You're planning for the keywords Zardoni sofa, but they typed in mid-century living room. That changes the entire way the text flows. So you would have to write numerous pages to be able to actually pull something like this that we're doing off, because you never know what the term they're going to type in. You're always guessing. That's the problem. The other problem with their pages is the CTA, or the final form function button that you click on. We're going to talk about how we're different, but this is the most frustrating thing right here, is because if somebody has an intent, let's talk about these intents. Maybe they want more information. Maybe they're a buyer. Maybe they're just comparing you apples and apples. Maybe they just want to see which brands they trust. Let's rewind for a second. This is a Google ad, and you could put your keyword in here. You also have site links. Have you ever considered this though? Since we have these special links inside these site links, maybe peppering in some text to figure out what your buyer's actual stage was, meaning that what if site link 1 was all about buying the product? What if site link 2 was about getting more information about the product? What if site link 3 was reading customers' testimonials? The reason I bring this up, these pages unfortunately are dumb. They're static pages that can't do anything with this information. What we're saying is, in these site links, you could pass on information to actually change this page to exactly not only what the keyword the person's looking for, but what buyer stage they are, what their persona is, and a whole bunch of different variables. That takes me to our page. I just wanted to point this out though, that you can echo the keyword, and right now, a lot of them are using AI to write the text. That's different because what you're doing is you're writing static text that stays on that page, which means you have to be the right keyword, the right intent and everything in the text you wrote, which, don't get me wrong, is still far better than having to write it yourself. After having to write copy, trust me, I understand that. But it's a one static text. This page is static. It doesn't change. It could change some keywords. That's about it. And the last one is you're going to have to create multiple pages. So if your time is valuable, like I appreciate my time, I don't want to sit there and create tons of pages or even have AI write the text for me. Now I have to copy it, paste it, format it, and do all that fun stuff. So last but not least, let's talk about immersive landing pages. Are basically what we're talking about today is immersive dynamic landing pages. This page is blank until it gets this link, meaning that we have one page. That's all we use, is just one page. Here's what happens. It looks at your customer ID to know all the contact information, all where the form goes and all that stuff. It looks at the Zardoni and searches through your catalog to make sure it knows the product specific items. It goes through what the customer typed in so it can be highly relevant to what it creates. And it knows the location, the platform they came from. Let's go over step by step. The title. I hate writing sales copy titles. AI does it for us. It generates the sales title from whatever the keyword that was used. Remember, this is a blank page. It just wrote the title. It also writes the text. Now, it's not just writing any text. It actually looked at your catalog and found that you have the Zardoni sofa, which matches the keyword the person put in, and it writes the text, sales copy text, for those two variables, making this highly relevant to what the client's looking for. Now we're also going to number 2, and this is the important part. What we're doing before is writing text. We're pulling the appropriate image from the client's catalog to create an interactive experience, meaning that there's no image here until this link hits. Now it pulls in an image, and not just any image, it pulls in the correct image the customer's looking for based off what you offer. And it's interactive, which means time on page is greater because they're playing around with it. It does various things. So we have the first part. Now we're talking right here about our list of key features of the product. Again, it looks at the text it just wrote and it pulls key points and specific features of that product to show on the page. Now we're going to come down here and talk about the form. This is a dynamic form, meaning that each time the customer clicks and fills it out, yes, you could get more questions answered, have their phone number, their name, and their email, but also collect additional information if you would like as well. But here's what's really important about it. Not only does it integrate into all of your HubSpots and mostly all of your CRMs, but we don't use thank you pages. Remember earlier when I was talking about platform ID? We want to know where they came from, because when they're done interacting with us and they've given us their information, they don't have to hit the back arrow 2 or 3 times or search where they were. We return them right to this point they were at. This is an easy, nice transition. That's why these pages, you can't see it from the whiteboard, but further on in the presentation, we're actually going to do it on a computer screen so you can actually see what it looks like. But the key thing is this: the page mimics the platform they were just on. So it's seamless. And when they fill out your information, they're nice enough to give us that information, we return them gently back to where they were. They continue on. So now, since we don't do thank you pages, the last part is this. We pull in relevant testimonials about the product as well. So this is just another feature. All these things we talked about are scraping the ice, because here's what's happening. We're taking intent, behavior, and preference, creating a customized page that's highly relevant to convert more. If you could do this on your landing pages, I guarantee your conversion rates are going to go up. So bear with me for a moment. We're going to switch over to the computer and start showing you how we actually do all this in real life.